Mercedes Mone, FKA Sasha Banks, makes history at AEW Worlds End 2024. AEW star Mercedes Mone passed a major milestone at the Worlds End pay-per-view. She faced Kris Statlander to defend her TBS Championship at the event and broke the record for the longest women's match in AEW. The CEO recently surpassed 200 days as the TBS Champion. She has also held the Strong Women's Championship for over 180 days and hasn't been pinned or submitted for over 7 months. Kris Statlander proved to be a huge threat for Mercedes Mone at the Full Gear pay-per-view. Many fans believe the latter would lose at the event as Statlander nearly defeated her. This match also held the record for the longest AEW women's contest in history, with it lasting over 19 minutes and 23 seconds. At the World's End pay-per-view, both the stars showcased their strengths. Similar to their first bout, the second bout had some close calls too, which had the fans on the edge of their seats. In the end, Mercedes innovatively pinned Kris Statlander after an intense back and forth. The TBS title bout broke a major record tonight. The match lasted for 24 minutes and 35 seconds, which means it is now the longest women's match in the company's history. Before this match, no women's match has ever surpassed the 20-minute mark. It will be interesting to see who defeats Mercedes Mone for the TBS title in the future. Mercedes Mone to convince returning star to become her ally in AEW after Camille quits? Exploring the chances. AEW TBS Champion Mercedes Mone has faced a minor setback after her bodyguard Camille quit her job last month. However, the CEO could pull some strings and recruit Camille, who is set to make her return to in-ring competition after an extended break. The 29-year-old last wrestled in March 2023. In May 2023, Camille and her husband Sammy Guevara announced they were expecting their first child, leading to Tay's lengthy hiatus from AEW. The couple welcomed their daughter in November 2023. The female star has since been training for a comeback to the squared circle. Camille's return to the ring is finally set. Today, Mello announced on X that at Stardom's New Year Dream event on January 3rd, she'll return to team up with Mina Shirakawa for a tag team match against Thekla and ROH Women's World Champion Athena. However, her All-Elite Wrestling return has yet to be announced. That said, the female star could shock the world by making her presence felt in the coming days and aligning with TBS champion Mercedes Mone. Camille could show up at the upcoming World's End PPV and help the CEO retain her TBS title against Kris Statlander. This potential alliance could boost Tay's career, as she is still new to the audience. Mello has proven to be a great performer, and the proposed angle can be a step in the right direction, potentially leading to a championship win in All-Elite Wrestling in 2025. Camille on being written off television after splitting with Mercedes Mone in AEW. Camille was booked as a dominant star during her association with Mercedes Mone. However, the Brickhouse's booking took a major hit following her split with the CEO. She quit as the bodyguard of Mone at Thanksgiving Eve Dynamite on November 27th. The 32-year-old recently addressed the situation. In a recent interview with Covalent TV, Camille expressed her frustration with how fans could not see her true talent in All-Elite Wrestling during her angle with the erstwhile Sasha Banks. I still feel like the AEW world hasn't even seen a glimmer of what I have to offer. Even being able to talk and show some personality, I'm really excited for AEW fans to get to know me a little better. It's about introducing that side of me to the fans, she said. We will have to wait and see if Tony Khan has any plans to use Camille in All-Elite Wrestling next year. Ric Flair thinks Mercedes Mone will end up back in WWE. Ric Flair thinks Mercedes Mone will eventually leave AEW to return to the WWE. In May 2022, Mercedes Mone and Naomi walked out of the WWE before Monday Night Raw. The former Sasha Banks has since signed for AEW and NJPW, winning championships in both promotions and becoming one of the top stars across the world of wrestling. However, Ric Flair still thinks she will be back in the WWE for a match with Charlotte Flair sooner rather than later. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Ric Flair spoke about Mercedes Mone potentially returning to WWE. The Nature Boy claimed that she and Charlotte had the best chemistry of all time, and that she will end up back in the WWE one day. The 16-time world champion continued to give praise to both women. Ric Flair complimented their staying power in being able to remain in the main event for the past decade and challenged the hosts to name any other talent who have done the same. I thought Sasha and Charlotte Flair had the best chemistry of all time. I just think the matches that Rhea and Ashley had might have been as good. Ric Flair said, I look at Sasha, Mercedes Mone. She has that mindset that she can do whatever she wants to do because she's that good. I think that ultimately she'll end up back in the WWE. If you look at the last 10 years, what Sasha has been able to do and what Ashley has been able to do, and maybe a couple others. Name the guys that can stay on top for 10 years. Never take a step back, always in the main event. Ric Flair added, every look of Mercedes Mone's wrestling career ranked worst to best. It would be hard to find a modern-day wrestling fan who hasn't heard of or seen Mercedes Mone, FK Sasha Banks. She is a multiple-time world champion in the WWE, a decorated New Japan Pro Wrestling champion, and one of the top acts in all elite wrestling. Barely in her 30s, Mercedes has been wrestling since around 2010 and has accomplished several achievements, including a successful venture into acting. One thing that Mercedes truly excels at is changing her look every once in a while to keep from being stale. With several to check out, let's look at her decade-plus career and determine which look came off the best and which ones felt a bit lackluster. Wrestling under the name Mercedes KV, fans would be able to find Mercedes working around the New England area for promotions like New England Championship Wrestling and NWA On Fire. It would be chaotic wrestling that Mercedes would mostly call her home promotion, going as far as to become their women's champion in 2011. Her time on the independent scene wouldn't last long, as WWE quickly came knocking and got her in for a tryout match in 2012. As everyone knows, that tryout match was a success, and Mercedes would move to WWE's fresh and new developmental brand, NXT. Speaking of Sasha Banks in NXT, it took a little bit of time for her to connect with fans, but when she did, she was amazing. Her first big moment came when she started to team with Summer Rae and formed the BFFs team, which would later soon add Charlotte Flair to their ranks. It would be with this faction that Sasha created the boss character that she had with her for the rest of her WWE career. Sasha spent about 3 years in NXT and managed to capture the NXT Women's Championship, and also became one of the first women to headline a major WWE event alongside Bayley at NXT TakeOver. Respect. When WWE was in desperate need of rejuvenating their main roster women's division, it would be the call-ups of Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch that gave them a shot in the heart that was much needed. All three women were paired into factions that would rival each other for a bit in the summer of 20.